Hello, everyone. I've gotten some questions lately about uh, trebuchets, the storm the castle, and the trajectory events, and maybe the strategies around buckets and distances and these things. So I wanted to make sure that everyone saw this page on the national webpage, which is soinc.org/score sheets. And I'm going to try to link these out on our individual pages today. But on this page are the team checklists, which is what your event supervisors use when they're checking you in, as well as a scoring program for each one of the events. And what this does is allow you to do a little strategy in advance as far as what it is that you want to aim for, because super accurate and short may not be as good as a long distance that's pretty close. So you can go down through this list. You can see all of them. Some of them are not ones that we're running, but you can see them all here. So what I want to do is show I opened. Here's the Storm the Castle score sheet. And you can type in any name. It's you need to enable the macros. When you open it, it'll give you a warning asking you that. So then you're going to go across this row, and is your device safe? It's a T or an F, true or false. And so hopefully your device is safe to launch, because otherwise, if you put an F in there, you get a score of 0 because you're not launching if it's not safe. Okay, and let's say that you met the construction parameters. Your device meets them and it's ready for competition. So let's make sure you've gone over the checklist, and you can see that checklist. Let's see, for Storm the Castle, just to show you checklist. Okay, here are the construction parameters you have to meet, and that it's ready and safe for competition. Okay, so let's just assume you've made it through those things. All right, and then put in your target distance in centimeters. So if I was shooting for 2 meters, that would be 200 centimeters. And then your accuracy score. This score is how far you are from the bucket. All right, so if you hit the center of the bucket, then your accuracy score is going to be 0. That's what you're aiming for. You want because that means you were right on target. All right, maybe you hit the bucket, but you skimmed the back of the bucket or the front of the bucket, though it did land in the bucket. So this one would be true. It hits your target, the bucket, but maybe it didn't hit the center. Okay, so that means that this one is false. Okay, so that is launch 1. Then, and you can see your score is going to auto-populate. Let me get rid of these for a second so you can see. Okay, so if you had a distance of 2 meters and you hit the bucket, but you didn't hit dead center, you hit a side, your score would be a 230. And remember that when you do these launches, it's the best of the two. So then some of us, I suggested, maybe you've got a really safe, solid distance, and then you've got a long distance. But let's just say you have a 7-meter distance. But let's say you don't hit the bucket. You land 20 centimeters away from the bucket. So you don't hit the bucket and it doesn't come in contact with the bottom. It is actually better to be pretty close on that long one. You get a 640 as opposed to hitting this short distance. So, but maybe you're not very accurate at long distances. So what happens if you get to be 50 centimeters away? Now your score has gone down. Or maybe you're the farthest you've ever gotten your catapult to throw your light counterweight is 5 centimeters. Okay, and then you're 50 centimeters away. So it's really kind of fun to play with these numbers in here and see what your end score will be. And then the same thing is true to get your final score. You need to do the same thing here in this heavy counterweight. And probably your heavy counterweight is going to allow you to throw the ball further. So, it might be realistic that you're only going 200 or 250. Okay. So if you can go 2 meters and be really accurate, so you can keep taking these numbers out and just keep playing with strategy. And you can record this as you go through, as you're testing, and see how you do. All right. So if you have a target distance of 2 meters and you're super accurate and hit the bottom of the, oops, let's say you hit the dead center on the bucket, you're going to get a 260. But if you go, so you're still meeting your launch parameters, and now you go to 2.5, but you are 15 centimeters away. Well, do you see how the score doesn't change? That means that the first score was the better score. And so it will take the best of the two, and it will also count. You can do the same thing on this heavy counterweight. Don't forget that this chart score really does affect your final score. So you get 6 points for having data that spans your variable ranges. You get up to 6 points for having 10 data set points. You get 6 points for having it properly labeled. You get 3 points for each graph that you turn in that has distinct labels. So that's 12 points. 5 points for having a labeled diagram picture, and 5 points for including at least 2 calculation examples. So if we have 2 teams who have the exact same device and one gets all the points on the chart score, they get a 300. So, but if I have a second team who does the exact same, okay, they have a super accurate device as well. Put them as the B plus team. So that you have to put a name in so that it will calculate. All right, so they have the exact same, but they forget all their charts and diagrams. Well, they're down by 40 points. So those are really distinct and easy points to have because it's a checklist. Did you do what the rules say? And that is in the rules under 7F. It's very clear which things have to be in here. So that's good to go ahead and get taken care of. You will show up at competition with this and hand it over to the event supervisor when you do this one in person. So I hope that helps a little bit as you decide what makes the most sense for accuracy versus distance, and maybe what your short distance should be. You know, or I shouldn't say short, but I should say safe. You know, you're very consistent on, and then maybe what your reach should be and how that might affect your score at the end.